Mr. Platinum Man 1989. This is my first video in, well, probably around a year, and even before that I wasn't really making that much videos. Obviously, for starters, a lot has happened since then. For one, I cut my hair, as you guys can see. I actually shaved it completely bald in August of last year. Some of you guys may have already known that if you have me on my Facebook. But yeah, my hair is completely gone. And yeah, it's pretty much the biggest change I can really think of. I've just been busy with this crazy thing that everybody calls life. But I've really wanted to get back into making these videos, especially because I've been really enjoying professional wrestling recently. And that's going with same for both companies, WWE and TNA. So considering this is my first video back, and I really do intend to start pushing more videos and finding the time to actually make videos, etc. I'm just gonna basically talk about some really pretty basic things and open the floor for some questions from you guys for my next video. Now, for starters, to talk about the current state of both companies. I think both companies are doing extremely well at this point, and I think there's a lot of signs that it's only going to get better going forward. To start with WWE, I think this time last year, none of us would have been able to guess that CM Punk and Daniel Bryan will be our champions going into WrestleMania. And I think that's... Sorry, my cat is making some noise back there, kind of distracted me. And I think that's something that's phenomenal. Excuse me. When CM Punk first started getting his push in the summer, it was really fresh, it was exciting, and it brought some viewers back, including me. And when Daniel Bryan won the Money in the Bank and everything was starting to build up and then he cashed it in, even I had my doubts about how they would actually book him going forward. And they have done an amazing job. As you see, come WrestleMania time, he is still the champion. So I think that's just phenomenal. So even though there's a lot of things going on with WWE that not everything is gonna satisfy us, not everything is gonna be on par with the two champions that we have. For example, Great Khali was in that Elimination Chamber match, and he basically just flew in out of nowhere. But like I said, I think if you try to nitpick everything you don't like instead of focusing on what you do like, you don't get to really see what's been happening that's been positive. Like I said, last year around WrestleMania time, who would have thought that CM Punk and Daniel Bryan would be the World Heavyweight Champions and, WWE Champion. So I think that's great, and I think going forward, WWE is really finding its identity for the next few years. We have Cody Rhodes now has a big Intercontinental title match at WrestleMania, and I know the Intercontinental Championship hasn't had a lot of light or much of a spotlight when it comes to the big show, but I believe I read somewhere the other day that he's been holding the belt for over 200 days, and only The Rock, some other guy, and I can't remember the third person, I believe it was Shawn Michaels, has accomplished that feat for holding the title for over 200 days. And I think that's something that it's great that WWE has acknowledged it. It really shows where they want to go with Cody Rhodes, and I think Cody Rhodes himself has improved tremendously over the last few years, especially this past year where he's been given this kind of bigger role. So again, I think WWE's focus on some of the younger people and the way they're starting to develop them is great, great. And in other news, Xavier Woods, which is Consequences Creed, recently debuted at a house show, and they actually showed him in one of the promos building up the John Cena gym weightlifting stuff, and he looks great. So I'm really looking forward to seeing what they do with him. I've actually met him a couple times, and he's a great dude. Now to talk about TNA, I am obsessed with what TNA is doing right now when it comes to Robert Roode and his World Heavyweight title. I also think that they're already showing us all of the future champions, and they're already building towards that, which makes the transition of champions and those champions when they become champions much more interesting and exciting. We got James Storm knocking on the door for the title, which obviously him even winning it in October kind of made him credible when it comes to being on that level. And then Rude won it shortly after, and he's had it since. So it kind of made two brand new stars right away. So now going forward, you have people like Jeff Hardy, Robert Roode, James Storm, so many different people that could carry the belt and it would be fresh. With Jeff Hardy, he's been doing great since his return, and he's been getting a lot of momentum behind him. It's going to be real interesting to see what's going to happen when he actually wins the belt and how long he'll carry it and so forth. But I think right now the focus is going to remain with James Storm and Robert Roode. If I would like to make a prediction, I think James Storm is going to win at Lockdown. And if Hardy's going to win it soon after, then it will probably be at Slammiversary. This is what I have to deal with. Yeah, I keep getting a little bit distracted hearing them fight back there. But, I guess they're shy. So, point is that it seems like TNA is doing really good when it comes to establishing some of their talents that haven't really carried the load or been in that main event spot. We're not seeing the typical guys like Kurt Angle and Mr. Anderson. And there's so many others that we're not seeing being thrown into that mix for the World Heavyweight title. And it seems like they have a lot of things going with some other people, like Samoa Joe and Magnus, who were an instant hit. And now they're the actual champions. But I think what TNA needs to do is continue to do that and continue to do that and continue to take it to the next level. The same effort that they're putting with the World Heavyweight title and creating new stars with Robert Roode and James Storm, they need to start doing that with the other belts. I think they've been doing great with the Knockouts division for a while now. I think they've really found their stride, because the Knockouts division was something that when it first started, it was getting praised and it had all these sorts of reviews, and then it started to go downhill from there. And then there were certain years that it was kind of a mess, and they didn't really know what they were. They didn't really, I don't think they even really knew what they were trying to have as the identity for the division. But I think with Gail Kim's return and all these other people that have been coming these last few years still sticking around, like Tara and Madison Reigns is still in the mix. She actually has a title shot coming up. I think it has really made the division real healthy, and I'm looking forward to seeing how it continues to unfold this coming year. Now, I could get lost and get off topic on all sorts of topics since I haven't talked about anything in forever. So I'm just going to cut this video short and leave it open for questions and comments or whatever you guys want to do. Whoever still gets to see it. I know I have subscribers, but it's kind of rare for, somebody to instantly click on. When somebody just pops up out of nowhere, they might miss it, etc. But like I said, the plan is to go forward with making videos and um, talking about wrestling, because I'm really enjoying what I'm seeing from both major companies and even ROH. I think ROH is at a point right now where they're starting to see, with obviously former ROH people as world champions in WWE, they're starting to see that they have to do more to keep guys with ROH so that they could actually find a way to continue to grow with their own talent. They're starting to see that they do have the best talent, or had, or whatever your opinion is. It's just a matter of continuing to grow on that level. And they just made 10 years, so congratulations to them. But yeah, and also there was rumors that Ring King, TNA's India-based promotion, scored 14 million viewers for the first show, which would be crazy because it would be a record for wrestling in general. So I really want the actual numbers to start to come out so we can see, what's going on with that. And I'm really liking what TNA is doing with Ring King. I hope that TNA continues to push it going forward, and they continue to do episodes, maybe periodically, but so that they keep it fresh. But at the same time, they have to continue to carry the momentum and not have that kind of dry moment. So hopefully that continues. I'm really excited to see what comes out of the promotion. I haven't been up there with the recent episodes, but I've been trying to catch up here and there. And I also think that it would be smart to continue doing what it's doing and focusing on that before they try to, because eventually down the road they're going to have some kind of aspect or angle with Impact Wrestling and Ring King and stuff like that, because it would only make sense to have a taping with a lot of TNA guys and kind of have an angle where they're kind of facing off each other. But right now, I don't think it should be the time or place. Right now, they're just still finding their identity and establishing themselves. And maybe if they continue to focus on that and continue to grow with that, then down the road, you could have an Impact Wrestling versus Ring King type of thing. But that has to be way far into it, and I hope they're not thinking of rushing it just to carry some of the momentum. It has to be much, much farther down the road for it to actually mean much more and actually make more sense. But yeah, that's that. I can't think of anything else to really talk about at this point. Also, Shawn Michaels has been announced tonight as, oh my god, they're fighting on the floor right now. Shawn Michaels has been announced to be the special guest referee at this upcoming WrestleMania's match between Triple H and Undertaker. Now, it's going to be interesting to see this entire match and see what really transpires. I didn't get to see tonight's announcement, so I don't know where they're building Shawn Michaels to be on whose side. Obviously, you would expect Triple H, but it's going to be really interesting. And a couple of people actually messaged me asking if I think this should be Undertaker's last WrestleMania match. Listen, I think this last year it was kind of weird that the way that Undertaker was absent throughout the whole entire year, and then just came back, but I knew that he was taking time off. There's rumors that he might debut a new look at WrestleMania. I think it's kind of smart to use him that way. Obviously, they would make him last longer, and I think WWE is at a point right now where they're letting the younger guys carry the load, and then bringing in the veterans for the big pay-per-views and stuff like that. And they're kind of finding their identity with that system, and I think it's working. So maybe we'll be able to see more WrestleMania matches for Undertaker going forward. It will be interesting to see. And I do think before he leaves, if he has a couple of more, one of them should be with a guy like Cody Rhodes or maybe even Daniel Bryan. I think it could really establish them on another level to have those kind of highlights um, of them facing off at a WrestleMania, win or lose. Anyways, Mr. Platinum Man 1989, thank you guys for watching, those that did, and stay tuned for more vids going forward. This upcoming week after Impact and so forth. Peace, and yeah, I don't know what else to say.